Hello everyone, welcome back to a quick video here on Azir itemization. So I've gotten a lot of questions, asking about the Azir on-hit changes and does it change the build, is the champ still strong and all that sort of stuff. So for you guys that don't know, they basically made it so Azir's W applies on-hits to the primary target at 50% effectiveness. So essentially what that means is, well, one, you get the on-hit damage bonus from Nashors. Before you would buy Nashors for the AP and attack speed, on-hit wasn't doing anything for you. It also opens up items like, potentially Rageblade, Runar's, Lich Bane, this sort of stuff. Now, how much does that actually change the build? Well, pretty much not at all, because most of these items just aren't that good. But I'll kind of talk you through like what the meta build is right now and maybe the items you can consider. So at the moment, most people are playing Ludens Rush Azir with Hail of Blades. And so I'll show you some accounts later on, but these are a lot of the accounts I've looked at on Korea. And the reason most people are playing this at the moment is, well, it's quite strong in the early game, right? With Ludens and Hail of Blades, it gives you a lot of burst. And if you look at most of these games that are being played, there's not that many full tanks, right? Like a lot of these are just like full squishy champs. And in that case, like the Ludens with the, the early spike and the Hail Blades just going for burst damage is normally better than just playing for the sustained DPS of Liandry. And that also means that in these games, even previously, Nashors probably wasn't the best option because you weren't going to get tons of autos, right? Like if you're playing against a full range comp and you're playing something like, Liandry, Lethal Tempo, Nashors, you're just not going to get enough autos off that it's actually worth it. So most people are just playing the Ludens Rush. Now, the time that you actually might consider an on-hit item is the Rageblade. So Rageblade is really, really good if you're just getting lots of orders off. And what I've seen some people experiment with is going, Hail of Blades with just straight Nashor's Rush and then Rabadon second and going into Rageblade third. So this actually does a lot of damage, but the problem is you need a lot of autos for it to be worth it, right? You really need like a full tank to be DPSing. And the kind of weird thing about it is you already have a very effective anti-tank mythic in Liandry. So in my mind, Rageblade doesn't really occupy any niche that Liandry does not at the moment, and so it kind of feels like, yeah, like it's just overall inferior to something like Liandry or Ludens at the moment. Other on-hit items you can consider. I mean, I've seen some people try Lich Bane. I don't know if I can find one in here, but I know I saw a Lich Bane in here somewhere. I'll see if I can just find it real quick. I'm not too sure where. Well, I did see one Lich Bane. Overall, though, I don't think it's that good because the problem is if you do go Lich Bane, right, like you can't go at first item. So you could maybe go as second, but if you're looking for like an on-hit build, it's kind of hard to fit in the build, right? Because like if you start with something like, let's say you go Nashor's Rush, well, you could go Lich Bane second, but then we have no mythic for a really long time, and you kind of have to go Rabadon's third, right? Because that's just going to be the most damage most of the time. So that means we can't really go Lich Bane second that easily, unless we just want to play the whole game without a mythic. Now, maybe when the items get reworked and the mythics are gone, maybe that's a viable build next season, but I think at the moment, it's not really. So I don't think that really works as a build path. So with all that kind of out of the way, talking about the on-hit, what are the actual best Azir builds this patch? Well, I think that there's pretty much two of them. So if you're against squishy comps or if you're against a comp that you can't really auto-attack against, you probably just want to go Halo Blades with Ludens and just play for either raw APs, so something like Ludens, Shadowflame, Rabadon, like a typical mage build. If you think you will get some autos off, like this game could be an example where they do have some melees, like a Tam and a Lee and stuff that you can hit, but they're still mainly squishy, then you can still go something like Ludens, Nashors. Basically, Nashors just becomes a situational second item instead, so you can still look for that. And yeah, these builds are probably the most standard and also the easiest to deal damage with because, again, it's not required on really good positioning. For the most part, you can just poke and look to burst. Now, if you are against a tankier team, I think the main difference from the previous patch is that I think it's a bit easier to just rush Nashors now, so you can just go straight Nashors first item. So previously, if you're running Conqueror or something, or again, you just wanted the Nashors early, you would typically go Chapter Nashors, and that way, you'd still have the Nashors quite early, you could then go for Liandry second. I think now, you can probably get enough mana with like Presence of Mind and Mana Flow Ban, or Presence of Mind, and Biscuits. That probably gives you enough mana just to rush a straight Nashors, and then, yeah, because the on-hits are more valuable, you will be, getting it earlier. I still think this is like not that good in solo queue at the moment because, again, there just aren't as many tanks. So pretty much for those of you that are asking what I think the best Azir build is at the moment, I honestly think you just go for the burst build. You play like Ludens Shadowflame or Ludens Nashors or something like that, and you just mainly look to deal damage kind of with your abilities as opposed to getting off lots of autos. But if you are against like a bunch of tanks, you can consider things like rushing Nashors first, or if you're against a ton of tanks, like 5 of them, you maybe could consider trying the Nashors Rabadon's Rageblade build. I'd be interested to see if anyone finds a lot of success with that because I feel like it's very niche at the moment, but potentially has like a big upside in the games that it's good. So Again, yeah, not going to be a long video. I just wanted to kind of put this in because, yeah, a lot of people were asking me, and the TLDR is that it's actually not that different from before. Maybe it will change when the new items come in the next season, and when obviously the mythic tag is removed. But until then, this should tie you over. So thank you again for watching, guys. Short video. Well, there'll be some more Road to Rank 1s coming soon. But if you did like this one, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.